I make content to help people move up homes in Toronto. This is what I do. I spent the last 4 videos in this series showing the math, the timing, the neighborhoods, and the numbers. This video is a little bit different. This one's about when you should not make the move, because making the wrong move at the wrong time doesn't just cost you money, it can set your family back years. I'm going to walk you through 5 situations where moving up is the wrong call. If any of these apply to you right now, you need to stop, reset, and fix it before you even think about listing your property. Let's get into it. Here's the first one, and it's the most common one I'm seeing right now. If your condo is worth less than what you owe on it, you cannot sell without bringing cash to the table. That's called negative equity. And in Toronto's condo market in 2026, this is not a rare situation. CMHC's latest housing outlook forecasts the median condo price in the GTA to decline 6.5% by the end of 2026. That will bring the median down to about $616,000. Toronto condo prices are already down roughly 7% year over year. If you bought a condo in 2021 or 2022 at the peak and you put 5-10% down, there's a real chance your mortgage balance today is higher than what the unit would sell for. That means you can't sell. You don't have the equity to extract. The move-up math doesn't start. How to check? Go to House Sigma. Search for completed sales in your building over the last 90 days. Compare those sold prices to your current mortgage balance. If the sold prices are below your balance, you are underwater. Do not list your condo until this changes. This is the one nobody talks about because on paper, the bank says you qualify. The mortgage stress test in Canada qualifies you at 5.25% or your contract rate plus 2%, whichever is higher. If you pass the stress test, the bank will give you the mortgage. But passing a stress test does not mean you can afford the house. According to RBC Economics, the average Toronto homeowner is spending 68 to 71% of the household income on ownership costs. CMHC recommends that threshold is 30%. So let's make this real. You own a condo with a $2,750 all month all-in carrying cost, talking mortgage, condo fees, property tax. You're comfortable. You budgeted around it. You move up to a semi-detached house at 1.2 mil. Your new mortgage payment alone is around $4,800 a month at today's rate. Add in property tax on a house, roughly $500 a month, home insurance, $250, maintenance on a house with roof, furnace, and a yard, budget another $400 a month minimum. Your total monthly housing cost just went from $2,750 to roughly $5,950. That's a $3,200 jump per month. If your combined household income is $170,000, that's $5,950 a month versus 42% of your gross income goes to housing. Before childcare, before car payments, before groceries. We know how expensive those are these days. And before saving anything. The bank said yes, but your life says no. If moving up pushes your housing costs past 40% of gross income, you are over leveraged. One job loss, one mat leave, one unexpected expense, and the house becomes a trap instead of a home. I didn't say this one because nobody in real estate ever does. If your relationship is unstable, buying a bigger house together is the worst financial decision you can make. In Ontario, family law requires equalization of net family property. When a marriage ends, everything gets divided. The family home is the single largest asset in that division. Here's what the math looks like. You buy at 1.2 mil and separate within 2 years. Land transfer tax on the purchase, roughly $36,000. Legal fees on the purchase, $2,000 to $3,000. Moving costs, about $3,000 to $5,000. Then you separate. You list the house. Selling costs on a 1.2 mil sale, roughly $60K. Legal fees again. Moving costs again. You spent over $100,000 in transaction costs alone. You haven't built any meaningful equity because you only own the house for 2 years. If the market is flat or down, you're splitting a loss. I'm not saying don't move up if you're in a relationship. I'm saying both partners need to be fully aligned on the financial commitment, the timeline, and the plan. If there's uncertainty, fix that first. A bigger house does not fix a relationship. It amplifies whatever is already there. If this series has been useful, hit subscribe. I cover Toronto real estate for condo owners and condo townhouse owners moving up. Every week, real data, no filler. Okay, let's get back into it. This one catches people off guard because they qualify today. Then their income changes after they close. If either partner is about to go on parental leave, switch jobs, start a business, go back to school, or take a pay cut for any reason, the mortgage qualification you have today would not reflect your actual cash flow 6 months from now. The stress test qualifies you based on your current income. It doesn't ask what your income will be in a year. If you qualify at $170,000 combined, and one partner drops to $85,000 on mat leave, your household just lost half its income. That almost $6,000 monthly housing cost doesn't shrink. The most common version of this I see is a couple qualifies, buy a house, One partner goes on parental leave within 6 months. The mortgage payment stays the same. The income drops by 40 to 50%. They spend the next 12 to 18 months draining savings just to make the payments. The fix is simple. If an income change is coming in the next 12 months, budget based on the lower income, not the current one. If you can't afford the house on the reduced income, you can't afford the house. This is the most expensive mistake on this list because it doesn't feel like a mistake when you're making it. The bank approved you. Your condo has equity. Your mortgage broker gave you the green light. Your friends are all buying houses. You feel like you should be buying one too. But you haven't asked the only question that matters. Do you actually need to move right now? If you're happy in your condo, if your family fits, if your commute works, if your carrying costs are manageable, then moving up just because the math allows, it is a $100,000 decision based on a feeling. Here's why. The round trip transaction cost of selling a condo and buying a house in Toronto is roughly $90,000 to $120,000. That includes selling costs on the condo, land transfer tax on the house, legal fees, moving costs, and the median cost of setting up a new home. If you buy and then realize in 2 or 3 years that you need to move again, whether that's for school, for commute, or for separation, or because the house needs more work than you expected, you're paying those transaction costs all over again. To move up only makes financial sense if you're staying in the house for at least 5 years. That minimum timeline for the equity growth to outpace the transaction costs. You can't commit to 5 years in the next house. You're not ready. Now, let me be clear about the other side of this. I spent this whole video telling you reasons not to move, but I need to be honest about something. For most condo owners in Toronto who have owned for 5 or more years, have real equity, stable income, and a growing family, waiting is also a risk. I showed you in the first video of the series that the gap between condo values and semi-detached values in Toronto is widening by roughly $170,000 over 2 years. Condos are declining. Houses are flat or rising. Every year you wait, the jump gets harder. The 5 situations I just walked through are real, but they are specific. None of them apply to you. The cost of waiting is also real, and it compounds. The right move is knowing which camp you're in. If any of those 5 situations apply, fix it first. If none of them apply, the math says move now, not later. So here's the gut check. Before you list your condo, answer these 5 questions honestly. 1, is your condo worth more than your mortgage balance? Check out Sigma. If the answer is no, stop. Number 2, will your housing costs on the new house stay below 40% of your gross income? If the answer is no, your budget's too high. 3, are both partners fully committed to this move and to the next 5 years together? If there's doubt, hold. 4, would both income remain stable for the next 12 months? If a change is coming, budget for the lower number. 5, can you commit to staying in the next house for at least 5 years? If not, the transaction cost will eat your equity. 5 yeses and you're ready. Anything less, you have work to do first. Moving up from a condo to a house in Toronto is one of the biggest financial decisions a family can make. Getting it right changes your life. Getting it wrong changes your life too, just in the other direction. Know your numbers, check these 5 boxes, and don't let the bank approval be the only voice in the room. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.